My name is Parker, and welcome to my channel if you are new here. If you haven't gotten the chance to check out any of the previous episodes of this series, I do suggest you go do so now, as we are on day 16 of Echoes of the Past October, a month-long prompt event being run by none other than Typically Untypical. If you haven't gotten the chance to go check them out, please go do so now, as they are an amazing author. Today's prompt is Horror's Not a Symptom, It's a Love Affair. Stephen Graham Jones, My Heart is a Chainsaw. Of course, there are some trigger warnings, and I would like to inform you that this is probably one of the saddest stories I had to write for this series, with a few exceptions. So, of course, go check out that description, and viewer discretion is advised. Without any further ado, this is my story, Love Affair. I hope you guys enjoy. Janus was head over heels in love with Remus, and as was Remus with Janus. They weren't positive about admitting they were in a relationship, so they kept it secret. It wasn't really hard to keep it a secret when no one knew that you even talked, although Janus still insisted on being secretive. Days turned to weeks, and weeks turned to months, and eventually months turned to years without anyone finding out. For a long time, everything was fine. They were happy where they were. Yet, suddenly it felt like it was no longer okay. Janus was slightly manipulative. He had always been. Remus had accepted that for a long time, until one day when he could no longer tell what words were true and which were Saturn's sweet lies. It had begun to feel like they blended together, being too close for true that Remus did not believe him, but so close to fake that he felt uneasy about being around him. So, Remus spent less time around him and more time with his brother and his friends. One of them stood out most to Remus. The way he talked and thought things through was surprising to Remus. Logan was logical, and despite seeming generally cold, he could be anything but when and if he wanted to be. The first time Remus had noticed this was when he spoke of how his parents had treated Roman and him so differently. Logan went on a 30-minute rant about how unacceptable it was for parents to literally cause a rivalry between their own children. Roman explained after that he cared so much about being perfect it hadn't even occurred to him what his parents were doing until he was in his early 20s. Remus was content with them, something he had never been in his entire life. Yet, when he was with Janus, he was always so nervous about screwing up or getting caught. And growing up, he always felt the need to just run until he couldn't anymore. It had ended up getting him a track scholarship, so maybe his parents were good for something. Remus spent most of his time with his brother and the people he thought of as friends, to the point he almost forgot about his issues in his relationship. Almost. Yet, as he sat upside down in between Logan and Roman watching a movie, he couldn't be bothered. The movie came to a close, and Roman gently lifted Virgil off the couch, walking him to his room, and Patton left early in the movie because he couldn't keep his eyes open. It was only Remus and Logan there, watching the credits roll while Logan looked uncharacteristically nervous. "Hey, Remus," Logan asked, fiddling with his hands and looking down. Remus paused, flipping over. He decided if it was important enough to make the Microsoft nerd uncomfortable, it was probably important. "Yes," he answered as he watched Logan's every movement. Logan swallowed hard and looked at him with a mock confidence. "I was wondering if you would like to go on a date with me?" he finally asked as he stared at Remus. Remus nearly fell from surprise. He didn't know what to say. He cared for Janus, but the longer he spent around Logan, the less sure he was it was the way Janus liked him. Logan, however, made Remus's heart race and his breath catch. His mouth moved before he could truly think it through. "Yes," he responded, maybe just a bit louder than he had intended. He felt like he should feel terrible, but he just couldn't bring himself to feel so. Little did either of them know, just outside the door was Janus, frozen in place with his hand held up to knock, flowers behind his back, and a small box in his front pocket. Tears flowed down his face. Had he heard the whole exchange? How had he not noticed the difference in Remus. The way he looked at Logan whenever he saw them together was the same way Remus had once looked at him. Excitement, adoration, and love in that one look. Yet it was no longer a look that he received, and it never would be again. I do hope you all have enjoyed today's video, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and remember, be safe.